The wind howls across a vast white world, an endless Arctic night where the sun is only a memory. Here darkness and cold rule for months, making survival a daily battle. The Norse, known as Vikings, chose this brutal land as home. Food is scarce, shelter is everything, and the cold is a constant enemy. Their ships brought them here, but could not protect them from the relentless winter. They built homes of earth and grass, fortresses against the deadly cold. This is a story of human resilience and ingenuity. In the frozen darkness, only the clever endure. The Vikings' answer to Arctic cold was ingenious. Turf houses built from the earth itself. Dug into the ground, these homes used thick turf walls to block wind and trap warmth. Inside, temperatures stayed stable, saving precious fuel in a land with few trees. Families and animals shared space, their warmth filling the home. By wrapping their homes in soil and grass, the Norse created living shelters, part of the landscape itself. Their homes were fortresses against both cold and isolation. In the Arctic, the land itself became their greatest ally. Building a turf house meant working with the land. Vikings chose well-drained sites and cut strong turf blocks, nature's bricks, stone foundations and thick turf walls locked in warmth. Building was a community effort. Everyone helped. The result, a home perfectly suited to its environment. The Vikings built with the land and survived because of it. The roof was as vital as the walls, but with few trees the Norse had to improvise. Driftwood, washed ashore after long ocean journeys, became precious roof beams. Over the wooden frame they layered birch bark, nature's waterproof membrane. On top of that, more turf blocks, grass side up, provided insulation and stability. The living roof grew green in summer, blending the house into the hills and binding the structure together. Sometimes goats or sheep even grazed on the roof. This system, driftwood, birch bark and living turf, created a roof that was strong, waterproof and incredibly well insulated. The roof was not just a cover, but a living part of the ecosystem. It kept the warmth in and the Arctic winds out. The Norse turned scarcity into strength, using every resource nature offered. Their living roofs were a triumph of adaptation and design. Inside, the longhouse fire was the heart of the home, light, warmth, and a place to cook. With no chimney, smoke lingered, trapping heat beneath the roof and adding insulation. People slept on low platforms below the densest smoke, where the air was clearer and warmer. The smoke preserved wood, kept insects away, and made the beams last longer. It was a trade-off, smoky air for precious warmth. Livestock shared the longhouse in winter, their body heat raising the temperature for everyone. Cows, sheep, and goats became living heaters, reducing the need for scarce fuel. The Norse accepted discomfort for survival. Every element, fire, smoke, animals, was part of a system to keep the deadly cold at bay. Life inside was dark and smoky, but it was warm and protected. The Norse made the most of every resource, turning their homes into engines of survival. In the Arctic, warmth was worth any sacrifice. Shelter alone wasn't enough. The Norse needed personal protection from the cold. Wool was their secret weapon, thick, oily, and water-resistant thanks to lanolin. Layered clothing trapped air, creating powerful insulation. Undertunics of linen, multiple woolen layers, and heavy cloaks or animal skins kept them warm and dry. Mittens, shoes lined with wool or fur, and woolen hats completed the system. Layering allowed flexibility. Remove a layer to avoid sweating, add one for extra warmth. Every garment was designed for survival, made from what the land and their animals provided. Their clothing was a portable shelter, letting them work and travel even in the harshest winter. The Norse mastered the art of dressing for survival. In the Arctic, smart clothing was as vital as a strong house. In the Arctic, food was fuel for warmth. The Norse diet was high in fat and protein, dairy from cattle, goats and sheep, plus meat and fish. Seal hunting provided rich blubber, essential for energy in the cold. Cheese, butter and skyr could be stored for winter, while meat and fish were dried, smoked or salted. Crops were scarce, so animal products were everything. Livestock were precious, usually only slaughtered when old or in hard times. Hunting and fishing filled the gaps: seals, caribou, fish, even polar bears. Their high-fat, high-protein diet was perfectly adapted to the demands of the Arctic. Food was survival, and every meal was a defence against the cold. The Norse thrived by eating what the land and sea provided. For centuries, the Norse in Greenland survived with turf houses, wool, and a fat-rich diet. But their system depended on a stable climate. In the 14th century, the Little Ice Age brought colder, longer winters and shorter summers. Grass for hay dwindled, livestock starved, and sea ice made travel and hunting harder. The Norse clung to farming, unable to fully adopt Inuit hunting techniques or technologies like kayaks and dog sleds. As the cold deepened, their communities became isolated and vulnerable. Starvation loomed, and the last records from Greenland's Norse date to the early 1400s. When Europeans returned, centuries later, only ruins remained. The Norse had built a system for one climate, but could not adapt when the world changed. Their story is a warning. Even the best survival strategies can fail if they cannot change. The Inuit, with their flexible, mobile culture, endured. The Norse, tied to their farms, faded into silence. Adaptation, not stubbornness, is the key to survival. The Greenland Norse story is a lesson in adaptation. Their turf houses and high-fat diets were brilliant until the climate changed. Over time, their way of life became rigid, tied to farming and old habits. The Inuit, in contrast, thrived by staying mobile and flexible, following the animals and adapting their tools. When the world changed, the Norse could not. The lesson survival demands flexibility, not just ingenuity. As we face our own climate challenges, we must be willing to change. History teaches humility. Nature is powerful, and we must work with it, not against it. The Norse story is both inspiration and warning. Their earth-sheltered homes show the power of clever, sustainable design. Their disappearance shows the danger of being too rigid. By learning from their successes and failures, we can better prepare for the future. In the Arctic and beyond, adaptation is everything.